Flosstube. Welcome back. This is Monica with Peaceful Times, and it's February 4th, 2024. We're actually having some sun today, which is lovely. We've seemed to been without for quite a while now, so any hints of rays that we get and over 30 degrees is wonderful. So we had some really cold days there in January. We actually got one off for snow, and we thought we were going to get a second one off. A lot of the public schools did, but we didn't for it being so cold because it was way in the negatives, negative with the wind chill and stuff. It was like negative 20 something, so it's pretty cold. But school was warm, so we were able to have it and keep going. I can't believe it's February already. It just seems to be ticking along so quickly already. January started, and it seemed like, not that it was a slow start, but it just took some time to get a little bit of traction, and now we are flying. We're flying at school. It seems like just things in life are flying. Our daughter's volleyball is going by quickly. Our son that's in the military is over in Abu Dhabi area, and he's there till, supposed to have come home beginning of April. Now it's end of April. We know how this goes. We're in hopes that he can come home at the end of April, but with everything going on and with what they're trying to do, we would be thrilled if he came home in April. I will leave it at that. So I have a couple of finishes already, which for me is crazy because I really don't get all that much time to stitch. I do some stitching on some bigger counts when I'm at our daughter's volleyball, the games, and sitting in practice and things, but I just don't get an awful lot of time. I do the bigger count, meaning like a 28 count or 14 count pieces, because I don't need any magnifiers or really good light. So I save the 40 count, 36 count, one strand of threads for at home when I do have the ability to use a magnifier and the ability to have really nice light by my stitching area. So I don't know. I'm just thrilled with the amount of progress that I do get. I know it's not a race. I know there's nobody, that cares, but it's like I'd like to bring you more stuff. I'd like to bring you progress. I'd like for you to see that, there's new things started, there's new things finished. One thing I am struggling with, and if anybody out there has any answers, I would be super thrilled to hear them. Please comment below. If you are good at finishing or have found easy ways at finishing. I mean, I've tried to watch all the videos. I've sewn my whole life, literally clothes, quilts, all sorts of things. And I'm just not thrilled with finishing things. I can do it. It's not that I can't do it. I, for some reason, just don't like to do it. I was discussing this with my husband the other day, and what I came up with for my own personal potential reasonings for disliking finishing, I think, is all the decisions that you have to make. And I don't like to do things twice. I don't like to do things wrong. So I think that's a big part of my frustration. I come to, I've got tons of fabric that I can use for backing or for like to put a piece on if you're doing a flat finish. I have all sorts of things, different rickracs, different finishing pieces, lots of ribbon. I think it's just all the decisions. And I typically tend to do it out in my shop, my quilt shop, and it's always a mess in there. So I'm always having to clean up before I can even start anything because I've got all the long arming stuff that I'm working on out there. And so I think that's a deterrent as well. And an Etsy shop that I work on things out there too to sell. So it's just a constant state of turnover of things. Shipping supplies are out there. Everything's out there. So I think that's a big part of it. I don't know. But if you have found ways in which to enjoy fully finishing pieces, that would be great. I mean, I have no problem stitching them. I have no problem gathering the supplies. In the quilt world, we always say that shopping and gathering the pieces for a project is a whole different sport than actually doing the project. So I'm sure it's kind of the same way with stitching. So anyway, if you have any help, any suggestions, please, please, please leave them below. As always, I ask that you would like and subscribe because of the simple fact that people are getting kicked off all the time. And if I do any giveaways, you have to be a subscriber and like the video in order to be in the running to win. All right, so my first finish this year was one that I had started back in 2022, and it is, let me show you the pattern first. It is Little House Needleworks from the Hometown Holiday Series, and it's called Quilt Shop. Now this one they just framed, as you can see, in a nice little white frame, so maybe I'll do that. It's clearly not a fully finished because you know how much I love doing those. But I used called for colors and I stitched it on, I think it calls for, I'm not sure what it calls for fabric. I used a 30 count lamb's wool by Witchell, and let's see, this calls for 30 count portobello linen from Access Commodities. I didn't have that, didn't find that, so I just used something that I got from 123 Stitch. So that was my first finish, and again, it used a number of over-dyed threads, and so I just used all the called for that. So that was my first finish. My second finish was one that I just purchased recently, and this was My Home Sweet Home by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And I used the called for floss, so some is DMC and some is the overdyes. And a lot of these, when you start doing certain designers, they call for a lot of the same similar threads, so you don't have to always buy them over and over again for each pattern, because a lot of times you'll already have them from another one. So sometimes I share them back and forth. Like this one, one of the threads was, or floss was, Hickory Sticks by Classic Colorworks, and I had it in another project, so I just grabbed a little bit of it because I didn't need very much and put it in here. So here's my finish. Sorry, I didn't iron it. But it's such a cute one. I love the house. I love the flags. There's the big flag with the house, and then there's also this little flag here with the little robin. I love the birds, a big robin. The strawberries. So this was a fun one. Now this one I did on, let me see, I think it was a 40 count, maybe it's a 36 count. This was vintage homespun linen. This is by R&R Reproductions. So you can see it's a beautiful color, a beautiful linen. I don't know that it's like overdyed or anything. It's just, it might have some dyeing to it. I don't know, like hand dyed. To me, it's a very basic color though, so I don't know that it is really overdyed. So those are my two finishes. I'm excited about having those done. Then I worked on some different pieces while I was in the car. One of the nights, I'm so excited because I'm in Illinois, and I found when stitching with Kia B over New Year's Eve, that there was a group, a Facebook group for Illinois Stitchers called the Land of Lincoln Stitchers. And so I joined up with them, and they have a once a month Zoom call. And so I was at practice. I didn't bother to come home and set it all up and things because it starts right at 7. So I dropped her off. I immediately moved out of the way, got under a light in my car, and started stitching and got hooked up with them. And it was so much fun. And there was about 9 of us on the Zoom call, and everybody was doing different things. But it was so neat. And of course, it's Illinois, so it's cold here, right? I mean, we've been in at nighttime, it gets, 20s, 30s, or below. And uh, at the end of that month, it was probably, I don't know, in the 20s or whatever. So I'd have my car, I'd turn it on and then turn it off for a little bit and then turn it on. And I've got a heated seat, so it kept me warm for a while, and then I'd turn it back on again and my light would turn off. I'd try and turn it back on. Um, so I finally spoke up and was like, "Hey, I'm Monica. I'm from DeKalb." Um, and so what they ended up, a couple of them were like, "We thought maybe you were like homeless, or we're glad you have heat, like maybe your house didn't have heat or whatever." Because here I'm bundled up in my coat and I've got a stocking cap on and I'm trying to stitch. Anyway, I'm sure I look like a hot mess, so not good. But anyway, that night I was working on Little House Needleworks Lantern Lane. And this one I also started probably 2022 or so is my guess. This one is being stitched on 28 count Lugana Brittany mushroom, whatever that means. So this is how far I've gotten. The house is definitely coming along. It's super pretty. I like it. It's an easy one because it's 28 count for me to see at night without any, you know, extra pieces. So that's been fun. And then one of the other ones that I had started over, I guess it was the 12 by 12, so New Year's Eve, was Every Opening Flower, also by Brenda Gervais. Everybody's done it or in the process of doing it. And I'd shown the start that I made on this, but I don't think I showed it again. So this is how far I've gotten at this point. I just started in on the beehive, which will be right in here. And I'm so excited because it's so cute. It's such a cute beehive. Sorry I didn't iron any of these. But I love the colors. And I think it was Kathy from the So-and-Sos had finished hers already this year. And it's beautiful. Looks so nice. It just gets you so excited when you see somebody else, um, having such a good progress and then finishes and things. So this was done on Winter's Brew 36 count. So again, it's super pretty. It's just a very neutral, beigey um, one, and that's the called for on that was Winter's Brew 36 count. So that's what I'm in the process of working on as well. So my calls for Whip Go so far were the 2 that I showed that I finished, and then 2 others. And I don't remember what they were, but I worked on them a little bit. And maybe we'll go back to some of those. We'll see. For February, that's right. So there would have only been the 2 for January. February, let me see if I have them written down here. So January was My Home Sweet Home, which I finished. And the other one was Every Opening Flower, which I just showed. This one. So those I worked on, one I finished. Then for February, we started with At Home, and the other one was My Home Sweet Home. So At Home is another Brenda Gervais. I showed progress on that when I had started it, just the border, it's kind of like a zigzag border. I haven't done anything else with that one. So that was January. Then February, my other one to work on in February is the stitching bee. So let me show you that one. I started it last year sometime, I believe. It too is a Little House Needleworks. I guess like I kind of like certain designers and I kind of stick with them. So I really like the finish on this one. This is just finished as a pillow, but it's got the cute button and the little bit of jute yarn, whatever, there. And then I love the yellow with the yellow chenille and even some black. So I will probably try and find a way in which to, it looks like honeycomb. The black is very honeycomb on there. I love that. I think I have some yellow honeycomb, but I don't know that I have any black honeycomb. So we'll see. But I have tons of black fabric. So this was my start and all the further I've worked on it. You can see the black and then there's white, which of course on this flax color, you can't really see too much, but you can kind of see it. This is being stitched on 28 count Cafe Mocha linen by Witchell. So it's real soft, but it's real open weave. I don't know if you can kind of see, sometimes you can see how it really pulls a little bit, but it's really nice to stitch on. It's beautiful. It's super soft and lovely. Now, I pulled it out of the bag today. It only has, I think, 4 different thread colors. None of them are in there. So again, I'm going to have to, kind of snag them from some other projects. Some of the ones that I just finished have a good share of the colors. So I'm not really sure why on earth they would be that would be in there without the actual flosses. I'm mind blown as to where they went. So who knows? We'll have to figure that out. All right. The other thing I have worked on is it's a design that I created. It's on a 28 count or a 25 count. It's a Lori Holt. Lori Holt, I think, has all 25 counts. So it's a 25 count Lugana type or something by Zweigart. It's an even weave of, whatever. And I've called it Bloom. It's like bloom where you're planted. It'll have another one of these urns on the other side over here before I'm done. But that's what I have so far. Again, I'd like to get it done. It's one I'd like to have as something, people could purchase if they like it. We'll see if I ever get to that point. So I will probably finish this stitching bee one, is my guess, before the month is up. So I'm going to work on that this week. And then I'll have time in February to pick something else. So I'm not sure what I will pick, but I have ones that I have started at the beginning of the year that I could work on, or maybe start something new. I do have a couple things here that you've seen me purchase that I've kitted. One I just finally finished kitting. So I might start that one. But anyway, so I have a free pattern that I got from Kathy at Haberman of Hands-On Designs. Now this one would be the one that I would maybe do if I was going to try and do one for February, because it's called Love and it's this cute little pillow. And I think you can probably go, it says it was given to shops and stitchers to copy and distribute. It was a freebie from 2017. You could go on the website and see if it's on there. It looks like it might have been one that I received when I purchased something from a shop. I don't think I printed it out. It seems like it was pre-printed for me, but it might be on there. Just FYI for you guys, if you like some freebies. That was a pretty cute one. I don't think I'll do it. They did it in like, it called for dolphin, so it's like on a gray, and then they used sanguine and cattail and uniform blue. So then they used blue and almost like a salmony pink and then a white or a gray. I don't know. I'm going to do it on a white or maybe even I do have a red and I could do some bright pink um, colors on there and some white, which would be really pretty. So maybe I'll switch it out and kind of do it opposite. We'll see. That's one that I'd like to start though at some point to have a little pillow. I don't really decorate with things for February, but I know some people do, and it still would be cute to have pulled out for this time of year. I do have a couple little shelves, and it would be fun to put it on a shelf because, and if I kept it red, then it would sort of go in with, because I keep up like some red and white quilts and, you know, like this stuff here, red and white, because it still is winter type stuff. It's not Christmas, but that's just hay in the back of the truck, so it doesn't have to only be Christmas. It says Winter Wonderland. I try and do that so I don't have to change everything out each season as we go, that it stays. And winter in Illinois, northern Illinois especially, is like 6 months out of the year. So yeah, slap that sucker up and it's good for a while. But because I have still some red berries and things and greenery, I would try and keep some of the things, the few things that I do have that are um, Valentine's Day are red and white and pink and um, sometimes they have black in them or, you know, whatever. So we'll see. All right. The next thing I'm going to go over is the haul that I got. One thing I did is online there is a store called Farmer's Attic, and I think they have a lot of really good stuff. A couple times a year they will have things on sale. If you sign up for if you subscribe to their newsletter, you'll get that information the couple times a year that they do have great sales. Um, they also do some community work and things. There's been a father, son, um, a young man, meaning like, you know, middle-aged to younger, young family who's for, gosh, I think it's been over a year now, been um, captured by, and I don't know who it is. It's not the Houthis at this point, but it was some terrorist group over there. And they let a bunch of the Americans go, but he's one that's been kept there, unfortunately, for some reason. He was doing some, you know, humanitarian work and not been released. So they try and put things out like that to where you can contact your senators and things and try and, you know, get the release, you know, of our American people that are over there. I mean, it's not military related. It's not, I mean, I'm sure he went over there in his own free accord, but, um, you know, to be captured and held prisoner is not good when you're just over there trying to help people. So, um, I try to stay out of politics and, you know, my viewpoints on things one way or another, because it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You be the best person you can be. You know, you love your neighbor, you love the people around you, and I don't really care, you know, what your viewpoints are on things. We can disagree till the cows come home. I'm still gonna love you. I'm still gonna, you know, fight for you. I'm still gonna be your neighbor and be your friend, and I don't care, you know. Um, I don't care. I think we should love each other, you know, no matter what, through thick and thin, because we all have more things in common. And, you know, the devise of the political world that wants to divide us is not going to win when it comes to me, I'll tell you that. So I'm going to love you no matter what. I don't care, you know, what your thoughts are on things, because I know at the end of the day, we all want the same things. We just want the best for each other. And I'm going to voice that over and over again. And so, you know, obviously, you know, I've got a kid in the military, so I'm patriotic that way. You know, I do love our country. I do think we have the best country. Um, and I think it's because of the people in the country that do these wonderful things by helping other people out. So anyway, Farmer's Attic, they are doing a fabric of the month, and their first fabric of the month is vanilla cream. They're doing it with Atomic Ranch. So this is, I did 36 count. Vanilla cream is very off-white, I would call it. Eggshell, maybe even. Um, Although all my eggs are brown, so I know a lot of eggs are white too, but um, so it's, I would say, more of an eggshell color. It's really good. It's gonna go, I think I'm gonna use it for one of the patterns I got. I also put an order in with them recently. I don't remember what it was for. Was it a President's Day or I don't remember, but they had, I think, a little sale. So I got a few things on their website. This one I've wanted for a while. It's called Memorial Day. It's a hands-on design as well. It's an older one. The copyright is 2020, so that's not that old. It says, God shed his grace on thee. So, of course, I love it. I love the fact that it looks like a clothesline with flags on it going every which way. And there is symbolism in all the flags. You know, if the guys are wearing them, you know, our service members wear them certain ways, they mean certain things. Anyway, won't get into all that. But so I got that, and I do have, it calls for sulky thread, and I've never used floss. I've never used the sulky cotton petites. So I've ordered them from 123 Stitch to go with this, and I'm excited to see how those will be. Then the next one I got was oatmeal, and this is much more of a typical marbled looking hand dyed. It is 36 count. It's from Fiber on a Whim. I also received French Vanilla, which is an R&R Reproductions, 36 count. So French Vanilla is definitely, this one's called Vanilla Cream. You can see the difference, right? So there's one that's why I say this one's much more eggshelly looking to me, or off-white versus cream, because this, then the French Vanilla looks more cream, and then this one's even darker. So you can see we keep getting like going pink, pink, pink. But gosh, they're all just so pretty. And then the last one I got was kind of an in-between. This one's Embellish. I've wanted this one for a while. This is also Atomic Ranch, and it's got great coloring to it. It's a wonderful hand-dyed that's, I kind of almost like them sometimes when they're real splotchy. And this one's real nice too, but it's very consistent, you know. Sometimes I like the goobered splotches where you get some darker ones and lighter ones. I don't know why. I think it looks very authentic, very like more realistic, more antiqued, you know, than something that looks cookie cutter or stamped, right? The pattern that I got was my home in the garden. And of course, I love gardens. And this is by Hello from Liz Matthews. And this one is so pretty. Now, I saw, and I can't remember her name. I will put it in the show notes below. New Hampshire Stitcher maybe is who did this, and I can't think of her name, but I think it's New Hampshire Stitcher. And when I saw this, because I've seen this pattern forever, this is not a new one either. This is 2021. And when I saw hers, I was like blown away though. I'm like, I have to do that. I have to do it. So it's a lot of times when we see them in person, and now you didn't see it in person, but see it actually done up. It's when they just like blow us away and grab our hearts and say, okay, well, that's on my list to do. So this one has a lot to it. It's going to take a long time. But I love the little trees at the bottom. I love the little weather vane, and then all the different flowers and um, little bees and the beehive, and it's just, I love it. So I thought maybe it would look good. It calls for not another sampler. So I'm thinking one of these lighter ones, any of these lighter ones would be great for it. It also calls for MPIs, no, Gloriana silks. I'm not doing Gloriana silks. I did get all of the DMC conversion for it the other day. I love silks. I would love to do everything in silk, but I have to be realistic. And I, don't have the money for that. So that's okay. All right. The last couple things that I got for haul as well were, let's see, let me show you. I got a couple of these little chenille for finishing because I love finishing so much. These will sit in a box for a while probably until one of you can help me go, okay, Monica, this is what you need to do. This is what's going to make it easier. And then I'll be like, woo! So this is called Sea Glass. This is beautiful. But I do so many things with this color that I'm like, I'll use this a lot. And then, of course, same thing with this one. This is brick, but anything with any of the ones I've been stitching lately, it's like a reddish, brick color, right? That reddish brown. Beautiful. And then this one I showed you before. This one I've had. This is also by Brenda Gervais. It's Brick House Sampler, but it called for a mushroom Lugana. So I have most of the called for threads here. The rest of the threads that I was needing for this project and some others, I also got. So pretty. Look at that. All wound up. I love that. But I needed the mushroom Lugana. It calls for a 28 count mushroom Lugana. This one I got, it's beautiful beige. Mushroom beige, they're very similar. But it's going to be 1/1. So for the 28 count. And this is a Witchell. I think it's Witchell. It feels like Witchell. It's real stiff. So I think it'll work nicely for doing 1/1. I don't think you want something. I mean, some of Witchells are real pulley, pliable. This one's a little bit stiffer. It feels like an Ada. So I think it'll work nicely for doing 1/1. And that the one of the ones that I finished, that little bird with the little flag, that was all 1/1. I'm not really great at that. I'll be honest. On here, all of this little flag was all 1/1. I'm I'm not great, but how do you get better at something, right? Do it, do it, do it. Practice, practice, practice. So I'm not going to get better by just looking at it and hoping to get better. Grab something, a big piece like this. This is a big piece. That's a lot of stitching 1/1. Just do it. By the time I'm done with it, so whatever I start with up here will probably be not nearly as great as the tree in the bottom of the border over here. That's all right. All right, the last thing I'm going to share with you is some of the pieces that I have that are just more winter. Now, these are just charts that I have. Next time when I come in March, I'll be sharing my spring charts. I have a ton of spring charts. And a lot of them I didn't even kit up or put on my WIPGO board. So if I get stuff done, maybe I'll start a spring one. But anyway, this is Lizzie Kate's winter. Is it winter smalls? Yeah, winter smalls. But they're super cute. There's some lambs there that are adorable. The snowmen, the one that says winter at the bottom, the little sweetheart one that would be for February. I mean, these are great. It gives you a lot of variety of like real cute ones, and they stitch up so stinking fast. And I love that they're on this, cardboard, which is great. So anyway, I love that one. Another Lizzie Kate. This is All Seasons, which is a nice one. It's called Friends for All Seasons. It's a Lizzie Kate. But it too is a super quick, would be a quick stitch and a really nice one. This reindeer one, I've shown you this one before. When I got it, I showed it. But I just love it so much. And I did order a Lakeside linen that this might work for. I'm not sure. If it does, I'll stitch it on there. I ordered something similar. This one calls for Mirage by Picture This Plus. And I know that I could get. And then the last one is Puffin Party by Hands On Designs. Once again, I guess I like a lot of Kathy's stuff as well. So it's funny how we tend to gravitate towards, certain designers. All right. I think that's it. That's all I've got for you. So thank you for sticking with me if you watched till the end. I next time we'll have a couple of things for giveaways, so come back, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your February. At least we saw that what Puxatani Phil didn't see his shadow, so he didn't go back down. So we might have early spring, and we have an early Easter this year, so that should be great. I am headed to Arkansas at the end of March 22nd, I leave. A big group of our school takes a mission trip down there to work on a camp. And I usually am in the kitchen cooking for 150 plus people. So we start early in the morning before everybody else gets up. And we get one meal over with, only to start on the next one, to get that one over with, to start on the next one, to then be at 9 o'clock still working on what we're going to put in for breakfast the next day. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So um, my daughter will be going again this year with me as well. So it'll be a good time. We're looking forward to it. So I will update you on anything else that comes along as we move forth through 2024. I wish you happiness and health and lots of stitch time. Take care.